as Wilco makes a run ahead of him. Bergkamp suddenly changed pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp! That's magnificent! The move, and then this, which left Dabi's ass totally stranded.
Hello, and welcome to a Friday night Bergkamp Wonderland podcast. My name is Karl, and I'm not your host, I'm just the person introducing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is currently 8:07 on a Friday night. In my house, it is 28.4 degrees. I am sweating and doing absolutely nothing. And for all the people who say, oh, you like it hot, don't you? It's like being back at home. I am from fucking Southeast London. So it makes so being back at home, I do not like it. I like it cold. I am a autumn person. I love autumn. Absolutely love it. I do not love this hot weather, especially at night as well, because I like sleep and you can't sleep in this weather. And my counterpart, who is on here, sleeps throughout the day. So I don't know how he does it. It's only Danny the GFP. Danny, how the fuck do you sleep in this weather?
I actually even have the duvet on me because I am, like my family, my lot are from Ireland. Well, they never know. We had, for my brother's funeral, we had 4 of my Irish lot come over. There's my aunt, my cousin, and then 3 of my nieces. And they are almost transparent. They are so white, and they sat inside the pub the entire time with sun cream on, so they wouldn't even go out in the beer garden because they were worried about getting a sunburn. So it's swings and roundabouts.
Yes, it's lovely. I do like it during the day. I think it's nice, but when you're trying to sleep at night, no, not for me. Give me 15 degrees, cloudy and overcast. I'm for that all day. Anyway, Danny, you've been out 4 days in a row, Danny. Like, we've seen all the pictures. Bloody hell, Danny. Like, did they lock away all the kids?
Did they? They were worried. Yes, because up until about 2 hours ago, I had my big beardy Father Christmas beard on, and it was very, very annoying. So I spent ages getting rid of it. And then, so now I feel much better, and I put a clean T-shirt on, and then I went and sat out the front. So yeah, I had, Sunday was my cousins came down from London. We went out for dinner, and then Monday was the funeral, and then Tuesday, me, Sean, and the mum went to Crystal Lakes near Bedford, very nice, or Northampton, one of the two. Wednesday, me and Sean went to Cambridge and had a picnic in the big park, and then yesterday we went to the zoo. They didn't want to let me out.
I was going to say, did they try and put you in a cage?
They did, and they tried putting Sean in one, and then we come home and we found the biggest spider in the world a few days ago, and then last night Sean found one in her hair.
Oh gosh!
Oh, there were squeals.
This is what happens when you have all the windows open because it's so hot. These spiders think they can just walk in and take over. No, we don't like that. Anyway, Daniel, we're kind of here to talk football, aren't we? And I guess we better start with our magnificent win over what I call our old rival, the biggest rival, because after that lot up the road, Man United for me are the worst team on the face of the earth. And they've kind of proven it this week, because anyone who's actually been on Twitter, and by the way, people, it's Twitter. I'm not calling it X. It is actually Twitter.
Me too.
Yes. So anyone that's actually been on Twitter, Man United fans have absolutely lost their minds. They've lost their shit, like literally throughout the whole week. They've just, I think don't know if it's to do with international breaks or the fact that they just can't handle losing to Arsenal, which you think they would be used to it by now since they haven't beaten us at our ground for quite a long time. And
wasn't it 6 games?
It's something along them lines. And the win that they did have against us last season at Old Trafford, it was robbed because, again, we shouldn't have had a goal ruled off for that foul, and foul in quotation marks because it actually wasn't, that got chalked off. But yeah, Danny, let's go straight into the game. So we got back to our traditional back five. You know, Partey was out injured, which we'll talk about later. But you know, we got back to our normal back five that kind of won us a lot of games last season. That was Ben White at right back. Gabriel came back in to partner Saliba, and Zinchenko came back into the squad. Like me, was you happy to see that back five reunited?
Yeah, because me and you have been in a bit of a funk about the Arsenal. I haven't really felt it up until even during the Man United game. I didn't feel it. And I didn't know. I couldn't put my finger on what it was. And I asked in the group, and a couple of people, you said, yeah, you're not really feeling the new season. And then a lot of people on Twitter said, yeah, they're not really feeling it. And I think it was the same. The problems that we had last season was happening again this season. And we could see that we weren't scoring the goals that we should do. We're letting in stupid goals, and it was getting annoying. And this game kind of typified that right up until the end. So I thought, what's the problem with it? The problem is not playing the players in the right position. He saw after a couple of games playing Partey at right back doesn't work because he does Zinchenko, just goes straight into defensive midfield. And then whoever we have at left back is then left to go and do the stuff that we'd normally do from the right back, as in Ben White doesn't always drop into the defensive midfield role. But that's what Partey was doing. So it's just unbalancing us. And then we've had Kivior was the last one playing at left back, and then we had the first game we had Timber, and the second game, who did we have in the second game at left back? I can't remember. It was just annoying seeing all the right players and often in the wrong positions, and we're waiting for Kai Havertz to do something, and I'm a little bit on edge because I know people are going to go, oh, he's put a ball out of place, that's it, he's done, what a waste of money. There's these people, Karl, that are never ever going to be happy. And not starting Gabriel mega legs, that was worrying. And Ramsdale not looking his usual brilliant self, although he pulled off some saves. And we've got Nketiah playing up front, and I'm thinking, oh, he's not really going to score. But then he's had some good games. And then we've got a couple of players settling in. Just a combination of all those things and kind of put me in this isn't going to work. And then the second half against Man United, all the right players in the right positions. It started to work, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I like you, Danny. I just wasn't probably got to apologize to Chris a little bit because he's asking for people to come on a podcast, and I weren't feeling it for numerous reasons. I just couldn't be bothered. I don't know why, but I wasn't as excited about this season as I was probably last season. But I think the Man United games kind of reignited my passion. I think a little bit, definitely. It's got me. Anytime you win against a big rival, like it brings you up, because our next game, I believe, is Spurs, isn't it? I believe Spurs at home. So, like, those are two games. If you can't get up for Man United and get up for Spurs, you can't get up for no game. So, I was like you, I couldn't be bothered, but. Do you know? No, sorry. Everton's our next game, isn't it? Sorry, I lie. It's Everton away. It's Everton away, Spurs home.
It's Everton away, PSV at home, and then Spurs at home. Bloody hell.
Yeah. So,
Champions League already. Maybe we're going to come to that later as well. That's been a while.
Yeah. So I don't know, but even the build up to the Man United game, and I was like, yeah. I saw the team. I was like, okay, we're back to quote unquote full strength at the back. The midfield obviously is chopping and changing at the moment because obviously Odegaard's going to start, and so is Declan Rice. And then I think that left 8 position is still up for debate because you don't know whether when Partey's back and fit, we'll talk about that later, is the preferred midfield Odegaard, Rice, and Partey. Is he going to try and shoehorn Havertz into it? I don't know. So, they're thinking, and even like the build-up to the Man United game, and I think we started well. I think we started quite well. We was off them for some reason. We weren't kind of closing them down. We was giving them the ball, and, Onana was coming out, and I don't know if that was a tactic from Arteta. on Sunday it was really hot. So I don't know if they were trying to conserve energy. So I'm not too sure. But then when Rashford got the opening goal, and I think we'll probably talk about it now, especially people who are on Kai Havertz's back. And in the group, I think I was one of them. I think John and I had a disagreement about Havertz, and I was saying nothing at the moment is coming off of him, and the fact that he was the one that gave away the ball for them to kind of concede, I think that gave the impetus for a lot of people to kind of shut at Havertz. Now, as much as I'm frustrated at Havertz at the moment, at the same time, I'm still going to support him no matter what. He's an Arsenal player, and until he's not an Arsenal player, that's when I'll stop supporting him. But I think what you have to understand is people want instant success, and Rice has come in and he's been brilliant. I think Rice has been absolutely excellent for not just because of the goal Man United. I think since he's come in, he's been really good, and nothing has seemed to have worked for Havertz at the moment, and I think that's probably the issue, that nothing's worked for him. So yeah, I think I was kind of downbeat when Marcus Rashford scored, but Danny, I wasn't downbeat for long. Do you know how long I was actually downbeat for?
35 seconds.
Exactly, Danny, exactly, because we do what we do, and we went up the other end and scored straight away. And I flipping loved it. Martin Odegaard, that's what a captain should do. Don't do what Bruno does. Do what Martin Odegaard does. It was such a good goal, and it was just it just reminds me of do you remember his goal against Spurs, edge of the box, straight into the bottom corner. Goalkeeper had not got a chance. For me, that is typical Martin Odegaard, and that's what you want to see from Martin Odegaard. You want him to sort of get the team, galvanize them. Heads don't go down when we concede. They galvanize. He galvanizes the squad, and we got the other end, and we literally score straight away.
But they didn't even deserve their goal, did they? They hadn't had a single shot on target up until that goal, and because we were just some of the stuff we were doing in the first half, passing around, keeping the ball, getting the ball off them. At times it was sloppy, but most of the time you could see the process. You could see it on the pitch. You could see it all working. It was exciting. And then they just go and do a typical Spurs goal. That's what that was. It was a Spursy goal. They did deserve it. On the break, bang, we let the goal in. And you think, oh, here we go again. The reason why football have not been on it this season. And then they go and do it. And they let the goal in. And because I don't know what Gabriel thinks he was doing. And I don't know... it wasn't it was a stray pass from Havertz, wasn't it? That they got and then whacked it up midfield and then he ran on and scored. And I thought, that's not going to help the Kai Havertz fan club, is it?
No, not at all. I was saying in the group, it would be Kai Havertz that sort of let the stray pass go, and John rightly said, you got to blame Ben White, and because. Although from the Kai Havertz pass till it gets to Rashford, it gets into the box, there was numerous chances to stop him, which, John's right, there was. But it was just let's be honest, Ben White doesn't cover himself in glory in that goal either. He jockeys. There's two defenders covering Marcus Rashford. There's Ben White and there's Saliba. Not one of them go towards... Rashford to try and even stop it, and then obviously the shot goes in and they turn their back, and
weren't they overlapping when they rang back as well, rather than running back to each other's positions? They tried to cross over to get back in their own positions, I think.
They just didn't. I think both of them. I think Ben White doesn't cover himself in glory because he doesn't go towards Marcus Rashford. He lets him get into the box. What Saliba should do was say, look, I've got this space here, go in and get him, but. Marcus Rashford scores, and it was a decent goal. Let's be very honest. And
but he's a decent player. Some maybe wouldn't have done that. It's only his first goal of the season, which is surprising.
Is it though? I mean, that was a shit show, but we'll get onto that.
My God, it just keeps getting better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
I better keep my voice down. Anthony's just moved in next door, and I don't want him to come out and give me a slap.
But yeah, and I think the second half I think we started to play a bit better, which I don't see Man United say they played better in the second half. And I don't know if you watched the Sky News, like the Sky Sports commentary, but we've got to get Gary Neville of flipping doing Man United games. He's the most biased person ever. Like, I don't get why they feel that putting Gary Neville on Man United and Arsenal games, there's no level of balance whatsoever, like at all. But the Kai Havertz penalty. So go on.
I was listening to some Supersport, which is the South African one, but they had Andy Townsend on. You think that Gary Neville is biased? My God, every single thing we got, Andy Townsend was going, no, that's not right. No, that's not it. No, they shouldn't have had that. It shouldn't have had that. There's just so many biased arsehole pundits. Just they're riddled with them. I want to know why so many of them are rubbish as well. But that's an entire different podcast. What are you going to say?
Yeah, I just want to ask you about the Kai Havertz penalty. Now, I don't know if you've watched it or rewatched it.
Yeah,
and seen
I downloaded all the games after.
So, just without asking how, do you think that's a penalty?
Going by today's standards, yes, where they give a penalty for almost anything. But as usual, you could look at the JFK assassination in slow motion and probably get away with it. Go, it wasn't meant to do that. But if you slow anything down slow enough, it doesn't look as dangerous, and so or much like a penalty. Two players impeded him. I mean, his left foot did come out a little bit and touch the other person's leg, but two players colliding into each other and him and catching different parts of each people's body. I thought the benefit of the doubt went to the forwards, the strikers, the goal scorer nowadays, the person who's doing the attacking. They change the rules so often; it could be either way round. But yeah. If that had been Man United at Old Trafford, that would have been a penalty. If that had been Spurs at Arsenal or Shite Hart Lane, that would have been a penalty, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, if that's Harry Kane, that's a penalty all day, and it's not even.
Oh God, yeah.
It's definitely not overlooked, not overturned. They're like 100%. I understand that. They tried to withdraw, but if those two players are not there, he goes. He runs for a goal. Gary Neville again. Well, yeah,
the referee. You had an Aussie bloke in the VAR talking to the referee. Did you hear that?
No,
Sky Sports.
I
tweeted it the other day.
I believe that. But even before Anthony Taylor went to go and look at it, didn't he say it's not a penalty or you need to rescind your decision, like something along them lines? Like it's
kept going on about it. Very, very annoying.
So this is the problem. I just feel like, rather than looking for reasons not to give the penalty, they look for reasons. Rather than look for reasons to give the penalty, they look for reasons not to give it. So I just don't. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on the state of refereeing in England.
When you've got referees, ex-referees on TV who've only just recently retired, going, "That's a penalty. Yeah, that's definitely a penalty. I don't know what they're doing." And you're thinking these people have got. The only thing the referees should maybe be a little bit biased about is red cards. But be a little bit more hesitant about red cards because that can ruin a game. But when it comes to this, and you've got two players doing what they did, it's clumsy defending. It's just a stroke of luck that they didn't make it 100% penalty with, and then they collided with each other after. It's just like with Man City. Man City are getting away with no end of stuff, aren't they? With the who was it against Wolves? Was it against Wolves where they took the goalkeeper took the player out and it wasn't a penalty? And then with the offside one, Man City, Man City did it as well with Akanji. I think that's how you say his name.
Akanji, the offside. Which how they can say that's not interfering with play, I don't understand. And I saw that, and what's his face, the referee and manager went on to Sky Sports and said, well. No, it looks like him.
The referee's manager.
Yeah.
Is it Mike Riley or someone like that? Mike Dean?
The new one. But yeah, he went on to Sky Sports and was saying, yeah, it should have been a penalty. But for me, that doesn't make sense. Him saying, oh yeah, it should have been offside, or things like that. What does it do to the losing team? Let's say Wolves go down by 1 point. Because they should have drawn that game. What happens then? Like, it's just
they keep trying to beat but they'll get nowhere because it is just It's like someone that's just invented football and everyone's completely unclear with the rules. They're making it seem extremely bloody hard. And VAR still isn't the interpretation of VAR. They're still not doing it right, and it's ruining the game. And that could have cost us. But there again, straight after that, I think we kind of made up for. Was it? At what point did our penalty denial come after their goal was disallowed? I can't remember.
No. So it was a penalty denial, and then they're offside. So the game was like, I think the penalty denial was like 60th minute, and then the offside was like 88th minute.
Do you rate Onana? Because I don't.
I don't see. I mean, because he comes out of his goal, and he can kick. He's quite good at his feet. That's it. He's conceded 8 goals in 4 games. Like, you tell me how that's good goalkeeping. Like, not in the slightest. So I don't get why people are raving about him, saying, "Oh, he's brilliant. He's this and that." No, he really isn't. I know we was linked with him at one point in time, and then he had that problem with
when he was at Ajax, he had
he's
taken his wife's birth control by accident. I mean, I do that every other week. Don't know about you. I take his wife's birth control.
So I know the problem, and then we didn't kind of dropped him, but
I don't rate him.
No, and
I like BX has put Mendy 2.0, another goalkeeper that was full of errors. I didn't realise that Kepa unpronounceable. Chelsea have loaned him away somewhere.
Real Madrid, he's got to.
I was listening to. Has he? No, I was listening to the AC Jimbo podcast from the Premier League one. So that was 2 podcasts ago, and they were saying. I think he asked Raphael Honigstein. He said, "How far are Chelsea away from having a competitive first team 11?" He said, "In January when they signed 11 more players." Well, that kind of sums them up. Genius podcast.
They're a fucking shit show. They're absolute Chelsea,
but it saved us. I mean, saying that the goal changed, their goal being disallowed changed the game. I mean, that's obvious, but it really did, because I reckon if that goal would have stood, they'd have been 2-1 up. We wouldn't have come back and did what we did. I think that would have killed us.
Yeah, I don't think so, because they would have gone more defensive. I don't think, as much as I want to say we would come back, I don't think we come back. 88th minute.
All they'll do is just, and they score that.
Yeah, they'll just sit back and do nothing. But, Danny, it was offside.
Was it disallowed?
88th, I believe.
Fucking hell. I'd thought all this happened in the first half.
No, second half.
God, let's see the... go on, and I will tell a sweary thing that happened, which is completely out of order, but it's with me and Sean and Sean's mum, and I'll tell you later. And it is only I could get away with shouting this at my daughter. Go on, carry on.
So we get a corner, and up until then, our corners had been shocking, and I mean really, really bad. To the point where even Gary Neville commented and said our Arsenal's corners have not been great, and they hadn't. Like Saka.
About the only thing he got right all night.
Yeah, he didn't have a good game. But I even said in the group, we need to have a set piece coach, because whatever is happening with these corners are not working properly, because neither Saka nor Martinelli could get the ball into the box. Like, couldn't beat the first man whatsoever. And it's becoming a bit of a problem, I'll be honest with you. Like, I just don't understand why Saka and Martinelli cannot beat the first man. Never. But
did it right at the end of the game as well?
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, it's just
it makes
weird,
me wonder why Odegaard. Yeah, I mean, I know they like it because Odegaard will be around the edge of the box waiting to spank them in from half a mile out. But he's our set piece taker. He's our penalty taker. Sometimes he's the free kick taker, and I think he can do either foot. And so why isn't he taking the corners? I mean Arteta knows, but it is worrying. And plus, we've got someone like Havertz there. We've got a 6'4" person, and that should be the person they're all aiming the balls at. But maybe it's something that will change as we go along. But the penalty, the corners have been rubbish for quite a while now, haven't they?
Yeah, then literally dire. But come off the man, come off the hour. And Saka decided to put the ball deep into the box this time. And our £100 million signing. Declan Rice controls it on his face, shoots. It takes a deflection of Johnny Evans. Sorry.
Johnny Evans back at United.
I still laugh at that. I don't know what the hell they are thinking, but yeah, it goes in off Johnny Evans and the place absolutely erupts. I shouted so loud. Like, it was just...
Me too.
I can't believe that we scored, and it's just brilliant that we've done it. I mean, Danny, what was your reaction to when we scored?
We all know I have slight autistic tendencies where I tend to scream things. Like yesterday, the other day we were in Cambridge and we're going down the middle of the high street in Cambridge and a woman goes past on a bike. She sticks her hand out to indicate she's going left. I stick my hand out and go, high five, without even thinking about it. And that's the kind of shit. So imagine the situation. I'm sat here in the electric chair. We're getting ready I had to move dinner with my cousins from 4 o'clock to 7. So I'm not missing the football. And then... So Sian's sat in front of me and she's on her knees and she's helping me put my shoes on. And as she's doing it, because it's the dying seconds of the game. And so Declan scores that goal and I shout out, "Oh, you fucking dirty bitch." And then Sian looks at me and her mum looks at me and I thought, hold on, my daughter's on her knees in front of a man. And I looked to her mum and I went, I bet that's not the first person in this situation to shout that at Sian.
Oh, Daddy! Oh,
and then I told everybody at dinner, and my cousin and her husband didn't know what to say. I hadn't planned it; it just came out like that. And then I looked at her, and I looked at her mum, and then I said it, and it was only I could get away with saying that to my daughter.
You, Danny. Only
I explained it to Sexy Frank as well, because Sexy Frank has put my shoes on and off for me as well. I said, "Do you know, like when you were putting my shoes on?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, Sian was in that situation." Gist of it is, I was over the fucking moon, and I think that goal might have just got me back on rails for getting into football this season, because that showed the never give up attitude of Arsenal, and Declan Rice scoring his first goal and beating Man United when they thought they were going to. So, like the title of this podcast says, the comeback kings. We went from 2-1 down to 2-1 up. Which fantastic, and
just,
the stadium went mad, and Femi was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was saying that.
Imagine being there, the noise.
Like, it was.
He does that a lot, doesn't he? It seems more often than not now. Femi will go, "That's the best atmosphere we've ever had." And last season, he broke his record for the most atmospheres 3 or 4 or 5 times, and this one, best atmosphere ever. And then, oh dear, it's just imagine being there for all of that lot, and then the next bit happened, which. I don't know what I did after this one. I think I just squealed like a little piggy for a little while. What did you do with the next goal?
When the ball came in, I remember it came out to Gabriel gave away a foul on the right-hand side. And I was like, oh, fuck's sake. This is like one more chance for them to put the ball back into the box. And they did it. And then there was a good header away from Jorginho. And for some reason, when the ball was in the air, Marcus Rashford pulls out of a challenge. I have no... I mean, thank you. But I have no idea why. Yeah, and then Reece Nelson plays it over to Fabio Vieira. And you can see Arteta telling Vieira to take it into the corner. Vieira's like, you must not know who I am. Passes it to Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus runs and fakes a shot. Dalot is probably still sliding now, I believe. And when he done that, I shouted then because I knew it was going to be a goal. Onana does absolutely nothing, turns that to the side, and Gabriel puts the ball into the far corner. Oh God, what a thing of you! I think, ladies and gentlemen, I have watched that goal, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, over 50 times. Like, genuinely, I think I've watched that goal over 50 times because the goal is a thing of beauty. I mean,
yeah.
If you're running alongside a right-footed player, surely you don't slide to put. He's not going to hit that with his left foot, is he? He's going to want to come back into his left foot. So you would think he's going to keep it onto your left foot, but he doesn't. Onto his right foot, he doesn't do that. He slides and puts the ball in, and that for me was the absolute cherry on top of an absolute lovely cake.
It was yum delicious. I'm trying to find a. There was a magnificent tweet that somebody did. Oh, I can't find it. That's a shame. Where it was taking the piss out of the Man United defender sliding along on his arse. But
I mean, Femi put one in our group, which was really good. But I don't know. I cheered a lot. And I think everyone probably around, if you was watching it at home, if you was watching it in the stadium, if you were watching it in a pub, watching it with friends, I think everyone shouted. And that, like you said, Danny, brought back the good mood factor because it was just...
Did it make you want to go? Did it make you wish you were there?
That definitely did. Like, I went to the Fulham game and that was like heartbreaking a little bit. Just conceding the goal that we conceded, it was just horrible. But this, for me, I mean, beating Man United at any point in the season is absolutely excellent. The fact that we did it going into international break, so they've got 2 weeks of heartbreak, makes me laugh. And like I said to everyone at the beginning of this show, like if you've got any Man United fans on your timeline that you're looking at on Twitter, I've seen people try to dissect the offside and say it wasn't offside. And I'm like, they've drawn the lines. Like, you can't get away with this. Either it's onside or it's not. Like, there's no ways about it. It's not like, you know, like when against Brentford when they forgot to draw the lines and it was blatantly offside. This one wasn't. I mean, Gabriel done his best Michael Jackson impression and was literally, you know, on his tiptoes trying to stay onside, trying to get the guy offside, which is wonderful. But the Man United tears, like, I am feasting on them because they're still hurt. They're still hurt, and they're still trying to dissect and say, "Oh well, we was better the second half. We should have won. Shoulda, coulda, wouldas." Like, we still won the game. The history books will show that we beat Manchester United 3-1. Like, doesn't matter what happened in the game, and at no point were they better than us. I don't know why people are saying that they were better than us. At no point in that game were Manchester United better than us. I've seen compilations of them passing it around, but they're passing it around in their own half. It's not like they're progressing with the ball and like they're putting us under pressure. There's none whatsoever, like, at all. Man United are an awful team at the moment, absolutely dire. And every single time you turn around, there's more scandal. Like after the game when their bald-headed manager tried to say that they were cheated at the game because Anthony Taylor should have given a penalty, or it was a foul on Johnny Evans for the Rice goal, which it wasn't. It was the other way around. I don't know. And then he says about Sancho, about he hasn't applied himself in training. And then literally 5 minutes later, Sancho replies and says, I think you'll find I have been. Yeah. I've been made a scapegoat. Don't listen to what people say. So it's absolutely wonderful. Then the next day, it comes out all the stuff about Anthony. Then the day after that, the day after that, it's Mason Greenwood's gone to Getafe, and apparently Man United are still paying his wages. They're paying for a house for him to live in, and you know that that meet and greet where, you know, the presentation. Apparently, Man United paid for all of that.
Oh, what his announcement video?
Yeah, his announcement. Yeah, Man United paid for all of that apparently. So they're still trying. So they're not saying they haven't sold him. Man United, they're still affiliated with Man United, and Man United are still funding his wages. Then
but they secretly hope it's just going to die down, and then they
100%. They are 100% are hoping that this happens, but it won't do. And then all the Anthony stuff come out, which I don't really want to get onto, but everyone knows. Everyone's been on Twitter and seen stories. Yeah. He's been kicked out of the Brazil squad, but that's him. And then it comes out that they invited some nonce coach as a guest of honor to a dinner at Man United, and you're like, what next? Like, what? How bad could you possibly be, like, of a club? Like, and then their share price, or not, just to top it off, their share price takes a tanking as well. Who would want to be a Man United fan this week? Jesus is Lord. Like,
and Rachel Riley's having kittens because she's retweeting that she said before they even bought Anthony that he'd had an incident. She tweeted about this in 2022, and then retweeting it and going, "I told you all these years ago or last year the kind of stuff that he gets up to." It looks the sort, though, doesn't he? I mean, we're not going to go into it, but it does look the kind of person that would do that. And they're a joke club, and what will they do? They'll just try and buy their way out of it like they usually do, and it'll be a failure. Of course. And they are the absolute worst they have been, and it is hilarious. I mean, Spurs are even better than Man United, and that's saying something, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, beat them 2-0, didn't they? So yeah, it's saying that, and I mean, I'm here for the Man United meltdown. I really am. But it's like I was saying to one of my friends, who's a Man United supporter, Jadon Sancho in Germany was tearing it up. He was
magnificent.
Absolutely. He was brilliant.
And for England.
To Dortmund. Absolutely brilliant. And you're trying to tell me that he's gone to Man United and just all of a sudden he's become this player? Like, just
Rafi Honigstein said that he had issues at Dortmund where twice he was told to stay away from the ground for just turning up late. And I think one of them was for having a bad attitude about something. But he has got previous, but he is a massively talented player. He was, at the time, he was the best player at Dortmund. It was magnificent. And now he's come here, and they were hoping that to try and get rid of him and move him off to play in the Saudi Pro League. And then that all went wrong because they wouldn't offer enough money for him. I mean, they paid, 85 million for him or something like that? He's probably 400 grand a week.
He's on 350 a week.
Oh, imagine that for a player who is now never going to play for Man United again, because you can't get rid of the manager because that's a half decent manager.
Yeah, he'll never, unless he comes out with his public apology, he'll never ever play for Man United again. So he's just going to sit there, collect his 350 a week.
I was reading today that the old Mark Overmars was fired for sending pictures that he shouldn't to people he shouldn't. Apparently, Ten Hag backed him during all of this lot and said he hadn't done anything wrong or something along those lines. I thought, yeah, that's excellent. This club and everybody that Ten Hag touches is an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, at some point they're going to turn on Ten Hag. That's 100%. They're going to turn on him very, very soon.
Well, they can't turn on the players because they've got £1 billion worth of stuff there that isn't working.
Yeah, so
and how long is Rashford going to put up with that for? Because he is a really decent player and apparently a lovely bloke. So. Yeah, and he's not going to want his image tarnished by being at the club full of nonsense. Is the easiest way to put it.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
The Man United meltdown for me was absolutely excellent, and I think it was important for us to win that game, Danny, for many, many reasons. But what you don't want to do is go too far behind Man City. I mean, they're a juggernaut of a team that just seem to, just win and win and win and win and win. And the fact that we're only 2 points behind them and they're the only team with a 100% record.
Yeah.
I think at this stage of the season, it's important not to fall too far behind.
That's it. Because we need to put the pressure on them, because the pressure will be on them. Because are they part of the World Club Cup or whatever that tournament is called, where they go away
indeed.
to?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to go and have a little looky poo and see when that is coming up, because that's one of the many trophies. Because we stopped them doing the septuple or whatever it's going to be called. Has it got it here? The dates for it? No, they did originally have the list of all the tournaments.
It's sometime in January, isn't it? I'm sure it's sometime. It's December, January. I'm sure it is. I think it's just after the first round of the FA Cup, of the third round FA Cup. They go over there. So, it's going to be a lot of travelling. Obviously, they're going to win it because only European teams do win that trophy. But you wanting them to be tired and having them to play catch up because they're going to have a few games in hand.
19th to the 22nd of December, and they're already in the semi-finals. And the winners in previous years, I don't know the history of it, but they're up against the likes of Al Ittihad, Auckland City, Club Leon of Mexico, Urawa Diamonds, Al Ali of Egypt, and that seems to be about it. Who's this? The Ali Aliyad. Who have they got on their team? They're coming up against Nketiah and Benzema and Jota, the team that they all play for.
That's going to be a little bit of battle.
Espirito Santo is the manager of that. Al Ittihad. Yeah, so that'd be good to see them go and play that lot. But yeah, it just means that's. Christmas is packed enough as it is with games. Let alone having to go and play 2 games or one, minimum of 1, possibly 2, just before Christmas. Good.
Yeah, it's going to be a packed schedule, and that's what you want them to be distracted by. Them to fall behind, having to play catch up as well. Because if they're behind, it makes a difference. They're a juggernaut of a team, and they'll just keep winning until they surpass whoever's in the lead. And I think what you don't want to do is go into that period behind them, and then they come back and then they just keep on winning. It's going to be interesting, but we'll see what happens with them. But fuck them, it's Arsenal. So, Danny, let's talk.
Pepe?
I was supposed to say let's talk transfers now. Literally, is my next thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not been officially. I don't think it's been officially announced, has it? But
what?
Pepe.
Oh yeah, it's done.
It's done. But have Arsenal officially announced it? I don't think.
Oh, because they were having the medical today, weren't they? Yeah.
So Pepe is left, depending on when you watch this. Danny, describe Pepe, because I'm at a bit of a loss to think people are calling him the biggest flop of all time in the Premier League. I don't believe that. No. Do I believe he's in the top 5? Possibly. That transfer was a very, very weird one. It just did not work out at all. For the money that he came for, he was, before Declan Rice, our highest transfer ever in the history of Arsenal. He came on the back of a very good season from in France, in Ligue 1. From Lille, very, very good season. I remember Chris ranting about him, saying, "Oh, he's very, very good. He's brilliant. If we use him correctly." I think everyone at the time raised their eyebrows at the price tag. Everyone did.
Oh, first of all, I raised my eyebrows and went, "Who's he?"
Yeah, I think even Chris raised his eyebrows. It was like 72 million is quite a lot of money, but he doesn't dictate the price. I thought it was a lot of money at the time, because again, you didn't really hear about him, so it was like, okay. Have you got his stats up, Danny?
Yeah, I think he's been hard. In fact, he's not value for money. He was not a failure of a player. First season, 31 Prem games, 5 goals. Overall, 42 games, 8 goals. Not bad for a right midfielder. And then, plus remember, he's got Saka coming through. Next season in the Premier League, 29 games, 10 goals. And then 47 games, 16 goals overall for the season. Very decent season. You could look back at Perez and Ljungberg and Marwood and Overmars and go, did they ever score 16 goals in a season? Well, if they didn't for a season, were they a failure? But then his penultimate season with us, 20 games, 1 goal in the Premier League, and then 23 games, 3 goals overall. And then he went to, he went to Nice on loan last season, 6 goals in 19 Ligue 1 games, but then he got injured in the second half of the season. And overall, 28 games and 8 goals. But I'm just looking for last season, because I know we only got between 4 and 5 million for him from Trabzonspor. Last season, we loaned him out. I'm trying to, on our website, I have how much players we got loan fee for them. Players out, players loaned out. Depends how far down, because we had so many players leave. Pepe, no, I haven't got down there how much we loaned him out for. But I think it would have been 3, 4, 5 million for him to go to Nice, because that's when they were throwing money at all their all the people coming in, and then they let Ramsey go. They cancelled Kasper Schmeichel's contract. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, things haven't really worked out there. But You have a look at the compilations that are of him on YouTube. Someone tweeted it recently, and I put it in the WhatsApp group and went, "That isn't a shit player. That is a player who is really, really good. He's a kind of confidence player. But when you've got Saka who plays in that position, what are you going to do? I mean, Saka's the greatest player in the world, or will be. He's on the verge of being it. And then you've got Martinelli on the left. Is he better than Martinelli? And is he better than Saka? No. Well, you're never going to play then, are you? Which is why his last season, 20 Premier League games, 1 goal. Most of those were coming on as a sub. So he was done. But it's just a shame that the human toad got his sticky fingers all over that deal. And we paid £72 million for a player that was a £30 million player who had 1 decent season with Lille. And it was brilliant. And he'll go on. And he's 28. He'll go on and he'll still have a decent career.
So what do you think do you think the emergence of Saka was the reason why he didn't fulfill kind of what we wanted from him?
No, partly, but I think we've seen with so many decent players we've had at the club, you're not Arteta's man. You didn't buy him. If he didn't buy you, you ain't really got much of a future at the club unless you're on the verge of being a world-class player, which the players he inherited are going to do that. He didn't buy Saliba, he didn't buy Gabriel, he didn't buy Martinelli or Saka. Not that anybody bought Saka. Even we're finding with ESR, who is a genuine, magnificent player, he can't even get in the team. And he seems so unwilling to rest Saka. We've seen what Saka's played 2 back-to-back 38-game seasons, and Pepe must look at that and go, well, even when we're winning, and he's still not bringing me on. Even when we were playing against a rubbish team, he's still not giving me a start. I ain't got a future at the club. And that's going to, his self-worth as an individual and as a player probably took a beating on that. And then he went to France and thought, oh, yeah, I'll show them. Got an injury. And you go, oh. And then you're not part of the pre-season squad, didn't do anything, not even given a squad number. The only person who's living like that is Cedric Suarez. No, Suarez, who's he's the cockroach of the Arsenal. We just can't get rid of him, can't kill him.
I think it was a tactical decision to keep. Well, we'll get onto that later. He has got a squad number. Just checking, he got a squad number. He's still got number 17.
Has he?
Yes, he's got a squad number.
Well, he shouldn't have.
I think he'll stay because of Timber. I think he will play the League Cup games because you think in the League Cup you don't really want to play the number 1 back line. So you could see Suarez, Kivior, and it'll be one of William Saliba or Gabriel playing alongside Tomiyasu left back. Because I think we've gone from being stacked in the defence to kind of short in the defence. Because you think we've got 2, maybe 3 fit centre backs, Kivior who can play there, Saliba and Gabriel. Okay, at a push because you're doing the square pegs round hole thing. So Ben White can play there. Yep, Kivior can play there. Tomiyasu can play there. You've got 1 fit recognised left back, which is Zinchenko.
Again, he hasn't changed his tune, has he? He's still making mistakes.
And at a push, you can put Kivior there.
Didn't really work.
At right back, you've got Ben White and Tomiyasu. So we've gone from being or we've got players in abundance to we're kind of short at in the defence department. And it's not like Arsenal get any injuries, is it? Nah, not at all. It's not like it's not like we buy a player and then on his second game he's out for 8-9 months. Completely. And I'm so shocked that we didn't get cover for him. I'm really shocked that we still let. I know a lot of people say Tierney didn't want us to play, so we had to let him go. And same with Rob Holding, people to go. But the fact that we got that Timber injury, I think we will be very, very blessed if we see Timber this season again.
It is one of those. It's one of the worst injuries.
Yeah, those injuries take a long time to heal, a very long time. So like I said, I'll be very, very blessed if we see him again this season. and to let Tierney didn't fit up to Arteta's plans, so he had to let him go. He wanted first team football, rightly so. I don't blame him, but at a certain point, you say, look, we are going to need you, because we're short. Letting Holding go for 4 million. I'll be honest with you, I don't
28
understand.
years old.
I don't get that. I don't get it at all. I really do not understand that.
Somebody made a really good point in our WhatsApp group. They said you'd pay more than, I think Leicester paid more than that for a Premier League player coming to play in the Championship. So maybe it was a thank you to Bob. We'll let you go for it. Yeah, that was it. We'll let you go to Crystal Palace because you've been such a great servant for the club. That's the kind of things that Arsenal will do. He's been there.
But this is business. This is business. I don't. Arsenal are such a bad selling club, and I know I can hear Chris Carpenter and John in my back of my head saying, "No, we're not." Blah, blah, blah. We are a really bad selling club. I said, and I still stand by this, and I will die on this hill. Rob Holding plays for any other club in the Premier League, he goes for 10 million minimum.
Like Phil's just put 12 to 15.
Fact, 100%. Fact, he goes for 10 million plus. 100%. And I had this, I think me and John are going to have to fight soon, because we've been having so many arguments in the WhatsApp group.
You won't have anything negative said about Eddie either, will he?
No, he's dying on Havertz heel as well, definitely.
Oh, John's not here because the place that he was renting with his mate, his mate has had to sell it, so John hasn't got anywhere to set up all of his equipment. There's nothing wrong with John.
John will be back soon, 100%, and he'll.
Oh, there'll be words when he comes back. He'll be put the baby in the corner and shout at him.
So I said that Eddie. So no, not Eddie. Sorry. Who did we just sell? Balogun. So Balogun, I know what Chris said. Chris said that we won't get more than 20 million. No, I think he said 30 million for him.
I think it was 30.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, should we have got more? Yes. So I said to John, how did Man City sell their striker who hasn't had any real first team football to Chelsea? And yes, I understand it depends on a buying club, but how did they manage to sell their striker to Chelsea for 40 odd million? And Balogun, who's had an excellent season in League One, can't muster a bid of 40 million. Like it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't make sense. And I think because people know we're such a bad selling club, they hold out.
Got a reputation.
They hold out. So they'll say, it's like when you say, "Oh, I've got an apple. It's cost £1. I'll give you 50p for it." No, but it cost £1. I'll give you 50p for it. And okay, I don't want it no more. I'll come back. Oh, by the way, I'm now going to offer you 45p. Yeah, we'll take that. And it's just like, I don't get how Arsenal's such a bad selling club. Look, I'm not saying we should have got millions for Pepe or millions for Balogun, but do I think Balogun should have gone for more than he did? Yes, considering the money that's been flying around this season, yes. Balogun is not a bad player. He had an excellent season in the League One. So why can't we get muster more for him? And yes, I hear what you're saying. It depends on the buying club and how much money they've got and how much money they're willing to offer. But why is it that Arsenal just can't get... even the Kieran Tierney situation, I believe it's a loan with no obligation to buy.
Yeah, 1.2 million loan fee, and I think
that's ridiculous.
110
that's
grand.
Ridiculous. That's not good. Same with Holding. Holding should have gone for more, 100%.
Phil asks you, would you have wanted to sell Balogun to Chelsea for an extra 20 million? Yeah,
I would have. I think I would have. So
Chelsea could have Pele at the moment and still be shit.
Yeah. So would I sold Balogun for what? What did he go for? 27.
That's 37. 30. Hold on, I've got it on our WhatsApp. Chris, per 38 million euros plus 7 million euros in add-ons, so 45 million euros, which is say about 42 million pound. So would you have told him 62? Basically,
Yeah, I probably would have.
for Havertz.
Basically, yeah. So would I have given? Yeah, I would have, because I don't rate Chelsea. I don't think he's up there. So yeah, 100%. I would have taken, definitely would have taken that money. I don't know. I look at the Arsenal squad now, and I do believe in, don't hold on to players for too long. The Sharks are going to start swimming around Saka. So I honestly think if for some reason Salah does go to the Middle East, and he does go for, I don't know, I don't believe what Paul Merson said, like,
225. I think that the transfer window's closed now. It closed on the 7th.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, remember, January's come round the corner, and next season.
Well, they'll just change the rules. I mean, the public fund bought the big 4 clubs. It's like buying Man City, Arsenal, Man United, and Chelsea. They bought them, so they can just change it. Oh no, update. We've changed the transfer windows open all year round. We'll offer you 225 for Salah. But someone said that the Saudis and the Egyptians haven't really been getting on lately.
Oh well, there is that, but yeah, some of the politics in this podcast. But yeah, I just think I'm not so. Yeah, I think our selling needs to improve.
It's always been the way, though, hasn't it? Under Wenger, we're buying Kai Havertz. Chelsea didn't want him, but yet we still paid 65 million. If Kai Havertz was an Arsenal player that we'd paid 70 million for and didn't want anymore, that hasn't worked out, no way we'd get 65 million for him. We'd be lucky to get 30. So it's just always been the Arsenal way. We sell our players for not enough, and we overpay for players that we don't want. And it's so unlike Arteta to go in and buy a player that has failed at his previous club. Jorginho hadn't failed. Jorginho's a hell of a player, as we've seen every time he comes on. But to go and buy a player that the other club didn't want, that it hasn't worked, and then pay almost as much as they paid for him, I don't like it when we buy players that haven't worked out and we hope we're going to turn it around. We can't all be a Mark Overmars purchase where you buy someone who's broken and it turns out to be genius.
So this is why I'm reserving judgment for Havertz, and I'm doing it because of John. I am. I have my theories, and I'm going to give him a season. No matter what happens, I'm going to give him the whole season. I'm going to give him the whole season, and then you assess him. Just like Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira, let's be very honest, wasn't very good last season. But
it just shows you how quick the crowd turns. He's had 2 good touches of the ball. He's our greatest player. Fucking hell.
You have to give people a chance, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give Havertz a chance. I'm going to, because when judging him on 4 games is ridiculous. It really is. Like, it's just Thierry Henry didn't score for God knows how many games. Dennis Bergkamp didn't score for God knows how many games. Look how they turned out to be. So yeah, you can't judge people so harshly so quickly.
Our fans are so critical at the moment. A player can be shit at the start of a game, magnificent at half time, and they want him out again at full time. It's unreal how quickly they are so fickle.
Exactly.
And most of them are idiots.
It's just ridiculous. So I'm gonna hold back. I still may moan about him. I'll moan about all our players, but I'm not gonna start shouting from the rooftops as a waste of money, because you don't know what's going to happen. So let's just reserve judgment.
You've also got to look at it. We're not just getting £4 million for Bob Holding. He's on 60, 70 grand a week. Times that by the rest of his contract, which is a year. And then that's a few £1 million. Pepe, 140 grand a week. You times that by the rest of the year of his contract. Echo, 140,000 times 52. 6 million?
140,000 times
7.2 million.
7,280,000.
All right, love, shut up now. So 7.2 million. So we may only be getting 4 or 5 for him, but then you're saving another 7. I remember FIFA used to always go on about amortization, where you go, we've got a £72 million player. In the first year, he'll lose 10%. We can claim that back on tax or VAT or trading stamps or Argos vouchers or however it works. And the next season. So over the space of that's why Chelsea bought all these players on 8-year contracts, because over the length of the 8-year contract, they can write off the player's value. Where's FIFA when you need him? Because I've got no idea how that works. So I'm going to shut up about it before someone notices I don't know what I'm talking about. Karl.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And I think the money off the books for wages frees up. I think it's quite important because I think I don't want to talk about transfers in the future, but I think we are probably looking at a new striker very, very soon, depending on kind of what Jesus does and how Eddie plays. But that's another story. But Danny, just on our ins this season, what would you rate our transfer windows? I think we've kind of covered it.
I haven't if you go to bergkampwonderland.co.uk, have a look at the top of the page, you'll see transfers and you can bring it down to a little menu and then it will give you for this season. So without updating Big Bob and Pepe, this season we spent a £208 million 600 on players. No, we brought, that's how much we've spent on players, which adds up to £593,000 a week. You think, fucking, that's a lot of money. But then when it comes, even before you add Big Bob and Pepe to this, we've made £74 million in player sales. But the important part is we've saved £484,000 a week compared to the $593 that we've paid out. And that's if, with a little caveat, the players out on loan, their new clubs pay their wages for them being out on loan. And then when you add to the fact that Big Bob was on, say, 60 grand a week and Pepe is on 140 grand a week, that takes that up from 484,000 a week saved to best part of £700,000 a week saved in wages compared to the 600,000 a week that we're now spending in wages. And we've bought in 3 players. We've only bought 3. 1 player on loan, that's 4. 21 players have left the club, either been sold or released, and another 19 players have been loaned out. Yet another. Arteta may be saying to them, look, I want these players gone. I don't care. Like we saw with the Aubameyang deal. They could have done it better, but they wanted Aubameyang gone and no longer be a problem with the club, with the wages, with the attitude, with the loaning him out. They probably can't be bothered. And the Cronkies are so rich, they don't care. So it's a little bit like when you're younger and you got the kid his parents have bought him a fortune worth of Panini stickers. I don't want this one. You're throwing a Franz Beckenbauer away. Are you mad? Don't want it. Got it. Throw it in the bin. This one, Bobby Ball. No, Alan Ball. I don't want that. Throw it in the bin. Alan Ball, Arsenal captain, legendary player. Throw it in the bin. That's the kind of attitude that some clubs have got. And it seems at times we just want to go get them all out. We don't want them at the club. The future isn't by having all these players. And that you can kind of understand along with amortization and along with getting rid of the wages off the bill. We're 100 grand better off a week than we were this time at the beginning of the season with 3 brand new players. So kind of makes sense.
I think there's a lot of things. I think, including bonuses and things like that. I mean, you know what? Like, John's getting a lot of love on this podcast today. Like John says, it's not my money. Pay the fucking, just pay it.
Exactly.
We've done that for Declan Rice. It's not our money, and we just paid what we did for him. Declan Rice has turned out to be a hell of a player at the moment. I think Kai Havertz will come good. I think he's a confidence player like Pepe, like everyone.
He needs to find his rhythm as well.
That's what it is. He just needs to find. Once he gets there, I mean, that air shot. I don't know if you remember the air shot against Man United.
The overhead kick that he missed.
Fuck no! It was one where the ball got played to him and he just totally missed the ball. Like if he made any connection, it's a goal.
Yes,
and he
nearly spun round on the spot.
Yeah, and it's just like
the overhead was Vieira.
Yeah, you're trying your best, and you're just like, Kai, please come on, like please, Kai. But
keep it simple.
It will get there. He's getting in the right. He's getting in the right positions. He's getting there. It just needs. He's one of them ones where I think when one thing goes for him, that'll be it.
Yeah. Once it
I
kicks.
think that'll be it. He will. Yeah. So that's what we need. So I think Jurrien Timber in the first 3 games that you saw, he was fucking excellent. He was absolutely brilliant. It's just a shame. It's a real shame that he got an injury. You're not going to see him this season. I think it's a real, just horrible for a player because you're coming to a new club. You're ready, you're hype, and that happens. So,
but he's not coming. He's not a player who's coming in to save the club. He's a club coming and joining a club on a high. So it's going to be a lot easier for him to fit in. It's not all doom and gloom. It's not like we're all on our asses. He is joining a magnificent club having the time of their lives, and that the reaction by the players and the fans and the manager after that, the 3-1, fantastic. Every player would look at that and go, I want to be a part of that. I mean, look at the Man United players. They like, it's like a, I don't know what it's like, a bloody wake. It's horrible and it's wonderful.
I mean, yeah, it's just. I think there's such a good atmosphere around Arsenal, but as you know, Arsenal fans can be fucking toxic because one loss. I mean, we haven't won away to Everton, I believe, in about 4 or 5 seasons. I want to say, Danny, maybe.
I should go and have a little looky through.
I remember I remember last season we lost to them. Do you remember Sean Dyche, new manager bounce? We lost to them, and then we lost the game away to Everton before that, because I remember that's the one where Godfrey stamped on Tomiyasu, and I think they got a goal in like the last minute of the game or something along them lines. So Everton are a bit of a bogey. Everton away, I should want to say, are a little bit of a bogey team for Arsenal.
The last time we beat them away, we beat them 5-2 in October 2017.
Gee, 17.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. How have we not won there 5 years?
Well, the last game in Premier League, we lost 1-0. Game before that, Premier League lost 2-1. Game before that, Premier League, we lost 2-1. Game before that, Premier League 0-0. Game before that, Premier League lost 1-0. Game before that, Premier League beat them 5-2. Go on, have a guess at the goal scorers. There's 5 different ones.
In 2017,
Rooney even scored for them.
Of course he did. So in 2017, I want to say 2017, Ozil.
Yep.
Lacazette.
Yep. And he's not. People at home, he hasn't got a screen on the go. He's holding his hand over his head.
I promise you, I'm not like I'm hasn't touched now. So I want to say Sanchez.
Yeah. Oh, the pressure's on.
2017. Who would have played in midfield? Ramsdale, not Ramsdale. Our Welsh one.
The Welsh bloke. Yeah. That's it, Ramsey. You've got one more to go. Scored our first goal. You won't get it. He's not really a goal scorer.
Oxlade-Chamberlain.
No, defender.
Okay, no. Who would have scored? Kashani?
No, Spanish.
Monreal.
Hey!
Oh, that's not too bad. 4 out of 5. That's not too bad. 5
straight away. They scored first with Wayne Rooney. And then there was 3 goals in the 90th minute. Niassi, Ramsey, and Sanchez all scored in the 90th minute.
Bloody hell. 5 years since we beat Everton away. Wow.
6. It'll be 6 years this October.
6. That's ridiculous. We fucking better beat them next time we play them.
That's what that is.
That really is. Like, that's disgusting. That definitely is a bogey team for Arsenal.
Karl, at the end of the show, don't forget to tell the boys and girls that I am on the Gooners v Cancer podcast on Sunday between 9 and 11 with James Johnson, who is restarted his channel again, and it is the Who Am I, a 2-hour special. So that's Gooners versus Cancer on Sunday. I hope I remember to go.
We will definitely repeat that at the end of the show. I'll let you forget. So I'm definitely going to forget.
Because I'll forget.
Right, so Danny, like going forward, I mean, we've covered the Man United game, we've covered, the feel-good factor at Arsenal, we've covered, what else we covered? We covered the transfer window. Let's talk Champions League, Danny, because this is something we haven't spoken about in 8 years, Danny. 8 fucking years. Danny, do you know the last time we played in the Champions League, we conceded 10 goals?
Yes, we did. 5-1 home and away.
Okay, that's horrible. So our Champions League group, for anyone who doesn't know, we have PSV in our Champions League group. We also have Lille, which Chris is absolutely going over the moon at. No, we don't have Lille. We have Lens. Sorry, Lille. Where did I get that from? We have Lens, RC Lens, and we have Sevilla. in our Champions League group. So, Danny, PSV Eindhoven, I believe they are the Dutch champions. I do believe we played them last season in the Europa League, didn't we? And we lost away and we won at home. Sevilla, they won't take the Champions League seriously because they just want to drop down into the Europa League so they can win that for the 752nd time, I believe. And RC Lens, who snuck into the Champions League, who finished 4th in League 1. Danny, what do you make of? I mean, first of all, it's going to be great to have Champions League football back at Arsenal. And Jeff, if you're listening to this, I've messaged you and you're not replying to my messages. Reply to this message, Jeff, because I need a ticket. Jeff, again, if you're listening to this, reply. I'm going to message him again anyway. But
I'm just looking back at that show. It was the 8th of March 2017. Live radio show 127. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 5. Guess who was the host? The Jonah.
Chris, obviously.
Chris was the host, and the 3 guests were John Welsh, you, and me. If anybody wants to go back and have a little look at it, I'll put it in the chat there. So that's our website, and that's got a link to the YouTube, and it's got a link to all the other things there. And should I
might have listened to that actually because we must have been pissed. We must have been fuming, and Chris would have been like, "Oh well, well, what do you expect? Like, it's fine."
Hold on.
Like,
I'm going to bring it up. I can't listen to the audio, so you'll have to let me know. Share screen, ABW radio. There we go. And can you hear it?
Well, you're hosting, you tit.
Look.
No, I told you to piss off. You do it. I said you've got a host tonight. Well, this has started well, hasn't it? I said,
can you hear it?
And welcome,
yeah.
dear listener, fellow Gooner, broken-hearted.
Let me know when to stop.
World. Here we are.
Your introduction.
Today, in this moment of need, everybody grab someone
Has
you
he been
love.
horrible about
it's
me?
Be all right in the end. We have.
Yeah, you can stop it now, Danny. But yeah,
Oh,
I think.
look how young he looks.
What? Oh,
No,
Sick. Even John is even
Karl.
grey back then. My
know.
beard is still mostly brown.
No, look at me, Jesus! Didn't have a beard back then, Jesus, Louise.
Oh,
But
okay,
yeah,
I'm just going to go and give it a thumbs up.
That was, yeah. I mean, first of all, Danny, like I'm sure you'll definitely watch the game against. It was our first home game, I believe. It's PSV at home. Yeah, PSV at home.
Yeah.
What do you think atmosphere is going to be like when that Champions League music is playing at the Emirates for the first time in 8 years?
Well, going by the way the atmosphere is at the moment during most games, it's going to be absolutely electric. I mean, that's what I was never, if you go back and listen to old ABW shows, I was never a great fan of European football because it used to annoy me because I wanted to concentrate on the league. Because for me, I'd much rather win the Premier League than would win the Champions League. And that's not saying that just because we haven't won it. I'd just rather win the Premier League because that says I want to be the best in my country. Especially now they know with all the finagling going on with the Champions League, it doesn't really mean you're playing against the best teams in the world in Europe. It's going to be great. It's going to be spine-tingling, toe-twitching, hair-curling magnificence. And especially when you look at the fact that PSV were playing against Rangers, and I think it was 2-2 at Rangers, and then I think they beat them 6-2 at PSV. And then you think, oh, they're in the Champions League. They're going to keep all their best players. But they didn't. They sold a couple of the players have still gone. You've got one to Napoli for 15 million. Dest has gone to Barcelona. I thought he was originally at Barcelona. Anyway, another one has gone to Bologna. And they've had some of their best players have either been loaned out or sold. No, they're the players they brought in. No wonder I thought Dest was at Barcelona. It's the other way around. No, that was it. The one they were talking about on the pod today, they bought their midfielder, sold it to Forest for 30 million. And that was one of their best players. And so that's really good. One of their best players has gone from the club, even though they qualified to get into the group stage of the Champions League. We played them again a few years ago, didn't we? I'm not sure how we got on against them. I did have a list of all the games that we played, but
yeah, we played them. So we played them last season, didn't we? And we, like I said, in the Europa League, we won at home and we lost away to them.
Yeah. I'm not too bothered by them. I do like PSV. I mean, I'm an Ajax fan because of Bergkamp. But I did used to like PSV back in the day because they had Romario play for them and the real Ronaldo played for them. But I don't think there'd be much trouble. I'm trying to find PSV. At what stage did we play them last season when the one they beat us? Was it all over and done with?
It was group stage. It was the group stage, wasn't it? Because remember, the game got called off or moved because of the Queen's funeral.
Ah, I vaguely do remember. But it was the last. What I was looking for at what point?
It was group stage.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's in the group stage. Was it the last game of the group stage? Then I wouldn't be overly bothered.
No, it was because when the game got moved, it became a decider, didn't it? Because who would finish top of the group?
I don't know why I didn't just look at the Wikipedia page, and I might as well just gone to the Wikipedia page and had a look and save myself a lot of bother.
But yeah, we're gonna.
And we played.
So go on.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not overly worried about it. See, I'm trying to do two things at once here. So it is weird that we're playing them in back-to-back seasons. I don't think they're going to be much trouble for us.
I don't either. Fortunately,
I need to have a look at a couple of things. I should have got these pages up before. And
yes,
how are they doing in Holland? Are they doing well in the league? It's only 4 or 5 games into the league.
Are they? I think they're top, aren't they?
Oh, here we go. I found it. PSV, it was the penultimate game of the group stages, and they beat us 2-0. Then we beat Zurich 1-0 at home. And so we ended up winning the group. Top. Yeah, I vaguely remember that was being an important game. No, I don't think they've got much to offer. That game was an important game, so it wasn't like it was a dead rubber game. They beat us fair and square on that one. And this season, I'm just looking at them, and they are currently first in the Eredivisie, which is nice for them.
Yeah. So I think they're going to be our main competition. Personally, I think.
They're joint top.
You've got and the other two, Seville and RC Lens. They're having shocking seasons. Seville, they've played 3, lost 3.
Oh, they got old matey boy back from Real Madrid. What's his name? The one who went to PSG. Spanish bloke. Started his career at Sevilla. Long hair. All tattoos.
Yes. Well, I will tell you in a second. Someone in the chat, come on, people.
Save us, because we're floundering. This is what happens when we don't have a list of what we're talking about.
Ramos.
Sergio Ramos. Yeah.
Yes, he's back. But they're bottom of the of their league. They played 3, lost 3, which is absolutely disgusting for them. For them to go into a Champions League game, into Champions League, 3 losses on the bounce. It's not the best, and even Lens as well. I think they've played 4, lost 3, drawn 1. I'm going off the top of my head.
I do vaguely remember people tweeting that yet again Arsenal got a lucky group draw. I thought, what? They've obviously forgot back in the time where we get Barcelona regularly or Bayern Munich regularly in the group games. It's not a jammy draw for Arsenal. We're just getting a little bit of lady luck for all the shit draws that we've had playing the same hard teams every single bloody season and then getting knocked out by them. So I would think that group will win it. Hopefully we'll win it with a couple of games left to go, and then we'll be able to play some of the
100%.
rest some players that are League Cup players that maybe I've got a little thing, haven't I? I've got a little picture here of our backup team. So there's our 2 teams that we've got, our best 11s. I think I've updated this right. Got Partey in midfield. Yeah, I think that's definitely our best team there. So then we'll have some of the other ones. I'll have to take Tierney out of this one, and Timber and Turner. Fucking hell, it's falling apart already. But I need to go and update that. But the gist of it is the likes of Kivior will get a game. Tomiyasu will. Raya, that'll him. How long do you think it'll be before Raya gets a Premier League start? Because there are grumblings that Arteta isn't happy with Ramsdale.
I guess we talk about it now. I don't think Ramsdale has done anything to warrant dropping him. I don't. No, I honestly don't.
It would be a bit mean.
So I believe that we've asked Brentford for dispensation to play Raya in the League Cup, and they've said yes, which is obviously a good thing. So that will more than likely be his first game. Would I play Raya in the Champions League and Ramsdale in the league? I probably would.
So I heard someone say that they reckon Arteta will give Raya the Champions League games.
So I would agree to that. I would say yes, because one, he'd be playing every other week, so that would give his match fitness back up. Like I said, I don't think we've got the hardest Champions League group. I mean, like I said, Lens have gone 4 games without a win. Sevilla have gone 3 games without a win. Raya is not a bad goalkeeper. He's quite good. Good. So he's gonna need at some point. He's gonna need games. He can't just sit there still. And there's no way he agreed to come to Arsenal on loan and not be told that he's gonna get games. Like he doesn't do that. Like, that's not 100%. So I just don't. I'm not Ramsdale's biggest fan. I'm not in the slightest. But I don't think Ramsdale's done enough to warrant being dropped per se.
He has saved us a lot in recent seasons, but I still get nervous that he's going to do something clownish when he gets near the ball. That worries 100%.
Me. I don't.
But then again, that's what makes him special.
But that's all goalkeepers. What goalkeeper in the world do you think that you can guarantee and say, "Oh, I'm getting nervous when he gets in the ball"? Every goalkeeper in the world makes you nervous. I mean, you think of David Seaman. I'm sure he used to make you nervous as well. Jens Lehmann, Jesus, when that one was, he used to make me nervous just stepping onto the pitch.
True.
So every goalkeeper makes me nervous, but I don't think I like I said, I'm not Ramsdale's biggest fan at all. But I don't think he's done enough to be dropped. Yeah, would I give Raya Champions League and Cup games? 100%. 100%, I would absolutely give him all the cup games.
Well, I think that group is staged well enough for us to be able to play both of them in there. They both get some games, whether it's Raya first and then it's going to be Ramsdale for once we've qualified, or whether it be the other way around. But what we don't want is our backup keeper to come in having played no games, as we saw that with Turner last season. In the end, he wasn't even getting the Europa League games, was he?
Yeah, he didn't at all. So that's what I don't want. But as you know, Arteta doesn't really chop and change his team a lot at all. So yeah, I do definitely see Ramsdale as our number one. And as much as he gets on my nerves, I don't think he should be dropped at all. But for the Champions League games, should he be rotated? Yes. But I still think the league should be Ramsdale's and Ramsdale's alone for him to.
So we see Man United, flourish. Man City do that, and they've got 2 really decent goalkeepers. And Pep makes a point of, didn't he leave one of them out of the? Who was the good one? Edison. Didn't he leave him out of the FA Cup final?
Yeah,
he didn't start him in the cup final
because he didn't play. Like he has a cup goalkeeper, and that's what he does. And I think it's harsh to. It's like. I hear you, but if that person gets you to, it's like, I don't know if you do this on Football Manager. I have a League Cup team. And if my League Cup team get me to the final, I don't play my first team. I continue with that League Cup team because they're the ones that got me there.
No, fuck them. Get me there. And then you're dropped. The big boys are coming in because silverware don't lie. Ain't having any of that favourite. Plus, they're not real, are they? They're not going to come banging on my door or leave a dirty protest in my changing bag. So no. I play the best teams.
Oh God, no, definitely not.
We mentioned Starboy. I'm not sure I like the name, but he's had a bit of good
I
news.
do. I don't mind. So yeah, we'll quickly touch on our Ballon d'Or nominations. So we have Saka, our best player. He's been nominated for the Ballon d'Or. And we also have Martin Odegaard, who's been nominated for the Ballon d'Or. And I think both of them absolutely well deserved. I think you all know who's going to get it. It's going to be Messi, isn't it? We'll just face it. Even though I don't think it should be, but Messi is definitely going to win it just because he won the World Cup. But Haaland should be up there. But the fact that you know, Saka 22 is being nominated and recognised, I think is absolutely brilliant. I really do. I mean, you know, there's a new generation coming through of brilliant players like Saka's there. Bellingham for me is absolutely, he's just different class. If you could go back in time and you'd say to Arsenal, there's this guy at Birmingham City. Yeah. He's only 17 or 16, 17. Just go and buy him. And even if you put him in your reserves, go and buy him now, quickly.
What did he cost Dortmund? About 5 or 6 million, something like that? I don't know.
I think it's like 15, 20. It's between, because it was quite high, wasn't it? And everyone was saying, oh, God, it's a high. And then they've sold him for like 100. I think Jude Bellingham is, if you put Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice in the centre of England's midfield, I'm telling you this now, they will go.
They've moved Bellingham, haven't they? He plays as a 10.
That's stupid. That's not his position. Like,
he scored 4 goals in 4 games, and each time he's got man of the match. How the hell have they converted him from a DM to a number 10 at the tip of the diamond?
At Real Madrid?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Well done. I mean, that Real Madrid midfield is world class, but yeah.
Oh, Dortmund paid 25 million for him. Oh, I got that completely wrong. I thought they only paid him a pittance.
Yeah, I thought so. And then they sold him 100. So, because I think Birmingham even recognised, and I don't think any other club, I think of another club coming for him, he would have cost more.
I'm just looking at Wikipedia. Bellingham in La Liga, 4 games, 5 goals. Last season for Dortmund in the league, 8. And the season before that, 3. And the season before that, 1. How the hell have you got a bloke who is, 6'1"? He's 20 years. He's only just gone 20, and he's already playing better than most players that you can name. What a life that bloke is going to have. Yeah,
he's bloody brilliant.
Well done, Mr. and Mrs. Bellingham. His dad's a policeman, isn't he? Or was?
Yeah, and they've got another son at Sunderland, haven't they?
Yeah, on the same day that he signed for Real Madrid, he left Birmingham and signed for Sunderland. You know, well, you got your ups and downs in life, haven't you?
Yeah.
you got the lovely city of Madrid, and then you've got Sunderland. We know who's going to who's for Christmas this year.
Exactly.
There's a picture of the star boy, back-to-back England Player of the Year.
What do you think his ceiling is? Do you think so? I'm not going to end this on a bad note. We'll talk about something positive. But do you think if Arsenal don't win a trophy in the next 2 years, he might leave? Because he only signed a 4-year contract, I believe. Was it a 4-year or 5-year? I can't remember what it was, but
that was also in the Wikipedia of our whoever does the Arsenal Wikipedia page, they've really been outdoing themselves. It's even got first team coaching staff, when they're appointed, and their old club and where they're from. And it had another section saying new contracts, new squad numbers, academy coaches, new contracts. No, it must have been he signed it last season, then, didn't he?
Yeah.
I wonder if they've been gone back and edited these. But I think it was probably a 4-year. But you can see Real Madrid written all over him. Unless we make it to the kind of football that he'd be getting at Real Madrid, then I doubt that he's going to want to stay. New contracts, Bukayo Saka, extension until 2027. And he signed it 23rd of May last year. So that is the end of next season is 24. So we got him for 4 seasons.
Yeah.
But then, you know what Arsenal like? In the 3rd season, sign or we sell you. Oh, I said that out loud. I feel dirty.
Yeah, I think he definitely... I think he loves Arsenal. Arsenal love him. But I don't want him to outgrow Arsenal. I want him to do great stuff. And it's going to be a time when a club's going to come knocking, whether it be Real Madrid, whether it be Barcelona. We'll see. But I just want him to say, no, I'm winning stuff with Arsenal, so I'm going to stay. But yeah, for him to get back-to-back Player of the Year for England, especially got someone like Dirty Harry Kane, who, you know, they love. It's brilliant.
Bayern Munich sold a load of players, and then they didn't get them in time. They were meant to buy a midfielder from Fulham, and then Fulham forgot to reply. So Bayern had done the announcement, done all the medical, done the photos and the press stuff, and they went, "Oh shit, Fulham haven't got back to us and signed the document." So he had to go back to Fulham, and so Timmy Tickles is furious about it again. Last week's or the Monday's the AC Jimbo show. That's why I pick up all my juiciest information. We have got some questions, but I've been ignoring people's messages because I've been busy fucking shit up on looking for Wikipedia because we don't know what we're on about. So normally I have all the windows open.
God. All right, we'll do some quick questions now. This one's from Clock Orange. It said, do you guys think that we are in the Champions League? Sorry, do you think, guys, as we are in Champions League, teams are trying to grow more complex games and players are still getting used to the system? I'll take this one. So, yeah, I think Arteta is a person who works on systems. He's not the sort of player or the manager who says, go out there and go and get me a result, boys. He wants players to stand in a certain position. He wants players to run in a certain position. He wants players to kick the ball into a certain way. So, yeah, I think he will try. Sometimes I think it's a bit too complex. I think he will try and outdo a lot of managers. Sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you just have better players than another team. And although you do need tactics, and although you do need to, be better than the other team, sometimes I think raw ability will work and will shine through. I mean, no disrespect, and I think Chris, when next time Chris is on, he can give us an absolute breakdown of RC Lens. But a team that got scraped into the top four last season, then this season loses 4 games or lost 3, drawn 1. Touching on Newcastle's about them, don't you think? Because Newcastle's group is disgusting.
I didn't think they had a terrible season.
Yeah, and they're going to struggle. I think they are going to struggle. I think it was us who said it last season, like when we tipped who for the top 4. I said that I don't think Newcastle will get into the top 6. Because
they may not now.
I think I know it's only 4 games into their season, but I think they're going to struggle, especially because they can't. The problem is in Newcastle, they can't do the shit that they did last season, the time wasting, the dirty fouls and all sorts. Because they can't do that no more. Yeah, they can't do that no more. So, you think when Newcastle come to the Emirates and how much time wasting they've done? Not this season.
There'll be 30 minutes of injury time at the end of each
exactly. So they can't get away with the shit that they used to. So that is something that they'll struggle with. Pete Colson says, are you concerned that everybody seems to think that we have an easy Champions League group? We have recently lost to both PSV and Seville, and Lens were 1 point behind PSG last season. Or did they finish second? Am I changed shit? Chris is probably pulling out his hair thinking, Karl, you tit. They finished second last season.
You're assuming that he listens to us. He ain't going to be listening. If he is, he'll be writing stuff down and having a moan at us.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know. I get Lens and Lille mixed up.
They finished second last season. So everyone listen to this, pulling out their hair. I am so sorry. They did. They finished second last season. I'm thinking of Stade Rennais, who finished 4th last season. So yes, Lens finished second, only 1 point behind PSG. So yes, you're absolutely right. No, I'm not worried about any League One team. Sorry, Chris, at all. I'm sorry, I'm not. Especially this season, how they started off so badly. Do I think that we should have enough to beat them? Yes. When Chris comes on, he'll probably tell me off for saying that and give us reasons why we should be wary of them.
And give us lines.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, any team that starts off so badly in their league, not winning the game in the first 4, something's not got right there, and something's wrong. So yeah, I don't feel that, but I don't feel we're going easy. I wouldn't say it's easy because this is the first time we're in the Champions League for 8 years. If it was easy, we would have been there. So
yeah,
I think we still have our wits about us. Definitely PSV. definitely we have to have our wits about us about them because they're not a shit team. But the other two, I mean, Seville haven't started off well at all this season. So, you know, it all depends on momentum. We've only drawn one game this season. We haven't lost at all. You know, the other two teams have
It's been
lost.
bloody
games,
close,
so.
though. It's been too close. We've been jamming.
Yeah,
to
it
end up
has.
with 10
But
points.
at the end of the day, if we play badly and still win, what happens when we play good, Danny?
We are magnificent. I'm just looking at Lens' running for the end of last season. They won 4, and then they lost to PSG, and then they won the next 7. I had no idea. I couldn't even name a single player who plays for them.
Oh, Chris is not going to be happy with you. You should
He
know the
isn't.
top goal scorer, Danny. What the hell?
Oh, it's like none of us care about them.
Anyway, next question from Pete Coulson, who says, do you think that Partey would have started at right back if he was fit against Man United? Don't know. Possibly. No, I don't think he would have started against me.
Arteta must have seen that it wasn't working.
Yeah, and plus against Rashford as well, I don't think he would have wanted Rashford to have that much space. So
and plus, if he's playing Zinchenko, we couldn't have 2 inverted fullbacks, could we?
Yeah, so that wouldn't happen. So I honestly think Partey would have started probably over Kai Havertz. I think it was because of his injury, Kai Havertz started. But, you know, it shoulda, coulda, wouldas. He's out. We haven't really touched on Partey's injury because there's a lot of people saying that he's out for months.
Does anybody really know, though?
Weeks. No, I don't. I think they were going to do one more scan and then it come out, but nothing's happened. So I think the last thing I heard is out for 8 weeks, which was 2 months, and then he's got to have. So you think if he's out for 8 weeks, put another bit of tax on that. He's out for 10 weeks. Arsenal tax, and then he goes to the African Cup of Nations because he's definitely going to get chosen.
He's the captain.
And you just know he's going to get injured out there. So, I personally don't think we see Thomas Partey until probably February at the earliest. February, March. I think he'll come back. He'll probably get injured again. So, I mean, hopefully he's not. Hopefully he does come back into the squad and, you know, he can help us and the injury is not that bad. But I've had my frustration at Arsenal because I think they knew about it and they didn't get covered for him. Who would have thought that Arsenal players are injury prone? Not me. Yeah, not me.
Definitely not.
Not at all. Yeah. Another one from Pete Coulson. Jesus, Pete, you've been putting them in. Well done, Pete. But he says, would you push the button now and get your money back on Kai Havertz and spend it on Lavia and Mohamed Kudus, or spend it on a curly curlies and crunchy bars?
Well, haven't Kudus and Lavia already gone?
Yes, they have. Lavia plays for Chelsea and Kudus plays for
West Ham.
West Ham. I'm so surprised that we didn't pull the trigger on Kudus. Like, really surprised. Especially as I say only 40 million, I get that. But I think if you had gone to to Ajax and said we want him, I think he would come to us. I really do. And yes, he'd be competing with Saka for that, right? But competition's healthy. Competition is brilliant. So I honestly think that, yeah, it's a shame. But you know what? Maybe we got our eyes on bigger fish.
How about the question? Would you, if we could sell him, get our £65 million back now for Havertz, would you do it?
No.
I bloody would. ESR would drop straight in there.
4 games. I mean, I'm not going to talk about it today because we've gone on for an hour and a half. But I honestly think that you can't judge a player after 4 games. You just can't. You can't. It's too early.
Well, I'd have said it off before he'd even kicked a ball. I'd have said I'll get my money back. I don't want him at the club, but I'll back him and I think it might work out. But I don't want him to work at Arsenal at the expense of ESR.
I mean, same. I don't see what... I'm not going to turn this into a Kai Havertz thing, but I personally didn't want him. I still don't want him. However, he's an Arsenal player right now, and I will back him to the hill until...
us off.
Yeah, I'll back him until it becomes untenable. We can't. So, you know, we are where we are.
Yeah,
All right.
I should have put him. John's in the top right corner, watching us with his beady eye now.
Last question from Phil Macker. He says, did you read the hilarious Garth Crooks who reckon Spurs are at the start of a Wenger era? I laughed my guts out and fell onto my ass.
Carl
This
should
happens
say
every-
he only said Wenger because we're reading it, and I do that as well. He does know it's Wenger before anybody emails us.
Whatever, fuck you. This happens every season. Didn't this happen last season where Spurs were title contenders and then, well, you saw what happened. Weren't they like, yeah, because they went on like, they didn't lose after 8 games and everyone was saying, oh my God, Spurs are going to do it. Do what exactly? Spurs haven't played anyone decent, and I'm including Manchester United in that. They've played nobody decent. They've lost their starting striker. So they've lost their best player in the history of players. Once they get an injury, which they will, there is nothing behind Spurs at all. You can't lose Harry Kane, not replace him, and think that you're going to end up the same. You are going to end up worse, like 100%. So I'm just waiting for the Spurs downfall. Yes, they've got Maddison, which I think is an absolutely brilliant player. I do. As much as I hate to say it, Maddison is a brilliant player.
He's no Odegaard, is he? He's a part-time Odegaard when he's not a great player.
I think Bissouma is back to his best at Brighton. I think he's a brilliant player. I don't know what Mourinho didn't see in him, and I don't know what Conte didn't see in him, but he is an absolute brilliant player, Bissouma, and he's showing his best now. But then, like I said, Spurs haven't played anyone decent, and once they start getting injuries, once the chicken boy gets some injuries, because he's still Richarlison gets injuries, and once Son has a moment or kicks someone or has an injury.
He's not that kind of player, Karl.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Keep saying this. Yeah, but yeah, I think they're going to collapse as normal. So I want the media to pile it on and say, "Oh yeah, Spurs are doing brilliant." They never learn. Every single season, they never ever learn. So yeah, bring it on. Spurs are the greatest in the world. They're title contenders. They're brilliant. No, they're not. Like, and their fall from grace is going to be brilliant this season.
Hilarious. Just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, it's going to be hilarious. So it is what it is. Right, Daniel?
Yeah, people, I will be doing the Gooners versus Cancer on the Gooners podcast on Sunday. I'll be on there from 9 to 11. But do watch for the whole 27 hours. You will see Feinberg wearing a nappy, partly because he's a sexual deviant and partly because it means he doesn't have to go to the toilet. I mean, I could do a 24-hour thing and not have to piss me pants. And I'm going to be on from 9 to 11 doing the Who Am I? But he has got so many wonderful guests going on there. And he said last night he was on with Fergus and Trev. He said so far, in the years they've been doing it, they've reached just over $100,000. And they're actually now registering to be their own standalone charity rather than having to organise money for other charities. And so it's really, really good that they're going to do it. Because sadly, Mike's old man passed away from, I think it was leukemia that he had, possibly, which is cancer of the blood. I'm sure that's the one. Yes, my friend has just been diagnosed with that, but apparently he's not going to die. So, lucky him. But you can see me on Sunday. Karl.
Yes, everyone tune in. That's a really, really, really good cause. And we know that the cost of living crisis at the moment is bad. But if you have got some spare pounds, dollars, yen, French francs, pesetas,
all dead currencies. Thanks.
Please donate because it's for a really, really good cause. And Mike is, he's a wonderful person. What he's doing. So yeah, brilliant. Danny, we have the Interlo because no one cares about the Interlo. Quick news,
Croatia,
just quick fire news.
Yeah.
Quick fire news. Yeah, I think they're playing Ukraine tomorrow. Thierry Henry's got a new job. He's the France under-21s coach. They won 4-1 yesterday. 4-0? 4-1, can't remember. So he's not doing too badly. It's always good to see.
Not a manager.
Yeah, probably not. Patino, he's doing well on loan, isn't he?
He is the darling of the valleys, like he was the darling of the north. Where is Blackpool? Is it northwest?
Near
Isn't
past
it?
Manchester, near Manchester or past Manchester.
Oh, my cat is such a twat. She's drinking water out of a cup that's soaking, probably washing up liquid in it. Got a 30 quid water fountain behind me. Thank you, bitch. Yeah, he is. They absolutely. I think he's even got a song already. They love him, and he will come in and play in either the left or the right 8 in the formation that we play at the moment. So glad he didn't go, but there will be a space needed to make way for him next season at some point, even if it's just the cup competitions. But he's excited.
Oh yeah, I thought I said that he would be slowly introduced this season, but
and Menwari scored he scored a hat trick for the under 21s, even though he's only 16.
Yes, so I think he'll be introduced slowly this season. I think with also injuries, I think we will have to start playing some youngsters, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, this has been a Bergkamp Wonderland and also podcast. Thank you for giving up your Friday night or whenever you listen to this to talk to us. You could be anywhere in the world, but right now you have the dulcet tones of me, Karl, and Danny listening to you. We may do a pod next week. It'll probably be a shit one because it's only international. It's only internationals games, and there's no Arsenal news. Or if there's some big Arsenal news, we'll definitely do one. And then we will definitely be back for the Everton game and the PSV game. I believe that we're going to do Monday and Thursday. I can't remember what Chris said. But we will be here. No, yeah, because the Everton game's on a Sunday. Oh, cool. Sunday at 16:30. Of course, they want us to lose that game, don't they? So they put it on TV. Fucking pricks. Fucking
there'll be a show on Monday, probably 7:38. And when's the PSV one? Is it on the Wednesday? I take it.
Yeah.
Yes, then will be another one on the Thursday, 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I'm back now, so I know I've missed the last few shows. I've been pressing buttons in the background, but yeah, you have my undivided attention now.
We'll all be here. This is a very, very hot. My room, Danny, now is 28.6 degrees. So it's going up. Probably all the hot air I'm talking, to be honest. That's what it probably is. Right, this has been a Bergkamp Wonderland and Arsenal podcast. Danny, this is your show. You have to be here, so thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much for being here, for hosting. Otherwise, I still wouldn't have got to the point about anything.
Don't worry, Chris is not here, so that's fine. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for everyone for participating in the chat. Give us a thumbs up if you're listening to this on YouTube or whatever podcast medium you're listening to, whether it be Spotify, Apple. Please give us a thumbs up. It does help us loads and loads and loads. Thank you very much. Whatever country you support, hopefully their team wins. Gareth Southgate is an idiot and doesn't know what he's doing. We'll be back to complain about the Everton game. So thank you very much, everyone. Take care. See you later. Au revoir. And always remember, #fuck Ellis.
As soon as I scored that goal, I was fucking livid. Get down, dog. Splendid business.
He nearly caught the bloody thing. What are you talking about?
So I was just eating a full quiche. Well, you don't often see them at it. So when you see them in the supermarket, they need to be swagged, microwaved immediately and get the brown sauce on one. Bosh, Bob's your uncle.